This is Nurse Amy from doomandbloom.net, and today I'm going to show you how to make something called a fire straw. And what you need is a candle. You need something like pliers to be able to crimp the end of a straw. See how that fits? You need a lighter, obviously, to light your candle. A plastic bag. Let's go ahead and move this over here so it's not in my way. And first, we need to put Vaseline into a bag. So what we're trying to do with this fire straw, which by the way I got the idea from Jim Cobb, that's C-O-B-B, from his book called Prepper's Home Defense. We probably only need a couple of cotton balls. So you're supposed to take a dab. I'm going to use this extra straw piece here so my hands don't get gooky. A Vaseline and put it in the plastic bag with the cotton balls. And what you're trying to do is to make a waterproof fire starter so that the straw is the container for your tinder. And if it gets wet on the outside, because we're going to seal both ends of it, let's put a little more Vaseline in there. I have lots of fuel for the fire. I'm sure my candle doesn't set off my smoke alarm. It's like right above here. Anyway, we're just getting these nice and soaked and covered with Vaseline. Let's put a little more in there. And you're using this plastic bag so you don't get your hands all gooky with the Vaseline. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but then you have to wash your hands and it's just one more step. So, squish it around. Okay, so now that we have those, I'll just dump them out here. Okay, now I think this straw is probably a little too long, so let's cut it some more. Alright, so what we are supposed to do, just make sure this is on the video, okay, is to hold this until it starts to get soft, and then I'm supposed to be able to do this. Aha! Let's just make sure it's nice and... Okay. So that looks pretty good. So we have sealed one end of it. Now I have these bamboo sticks that I'm going to use one of them and see if that'll help me shove this cotton ball into the straw a little easier. Now I wanted to show you, this is one of those flexible drinking straws, and I just cut the end of it off, and that's what I was using to get the Vaseline off. Obviously this part is probably not going to be as strong as the rest of the straw, so I just use this one piece. But this is much wider diameter, and this is probably a McDonald's or a Burger King straw. They're a little bit larger because of course they give you the giant drinks. So we're just going to take little bits of this, and this is what Jim's book says to do, and we also interviewed him for a show tonight on the Doom and Bloom Hour, and I had him tell our listeners how to do this. And I told him I would do a video. So although I was gardening today, I came in, washed my hands up, put some nail polish on, and I'm doing the video. So we're just trying to stuff all of this in here. Now obviously the inside of the cotton ball is not covered in as much Vaseline, but the outside's pretty sticky. And see if you can just keep pulling this and kind of thinning it out. It'll stuff in there much easier. Oh, very good. Okay, now without setting the cotton ball on fire, and that's why I'm trying to give myself some space here, I'm going to attempt, let's make sure that's in the picture, yep. Attempt to close, you know what? I think I should clean off as much Vaseline from this straw as possible. I do have a glass here in case I need to drop it because it's in flames. Okay, I have never done this before, so here we go, final step. I'm trying to melt the other end. And that's probably good. Let's see if we can mash that down. Final little mash. And I think I have made a fire straw. There we go. So basically these will fit nicely in your little Altoid kits, bug out kits. What you do is, obviously not this knife, but you take a pocket knife, you could use this if you wanted to, and what you do is you cut a slice in here. Let's see if I can do this without injuring myself. Then we'll have to do a video on hemorrhaging and reattachment of fingers. Aha! Okay, so we cut a hole in this, and Jim says to pull out some of the fibers like that, and to, should I dare light this on fire? Okay, you know what, let me get a glass of water before we do that. Sorry I'm not in the film, but I would really like to not catch my house on fire. So, look, doom and gloom. That's so funny, I didn't actually even mean to grab that one. All right, let's get all our extra stuff away. Off the paper plate. Trying to have some fire safety here. Okay, so let's light this on fire. Whee! Okay, I hope you can see that. So it's still glowing, it's still hot, you still see the smoke coming off. Oh, it smells terrible. But that wouldn't matter if you're outside. Well, you know what I recommend? Making a bigger cut, because once it got into the straw, due to the Vaseline, there wasn't any oxygen. So the flame went out. Okay, so lesson learned, cut a bigger slit in the straw. Okay, pull some of that out. We're going to try this again. Okay. Without burning my fingers. That's pretty good. So I think if you're trying to start a fire, you got a nice flame there. And it's like he said, if you have just tinder, it isn't going to burn quite as long. And the plastic is actually, as I burn my glass here, and get plastic stuck to it. The plastic is actually adding to the flames. So as it's melting, you can see that flame's pretty large. And it's going for quite a while. without anything else added. All that is the Vaseline and the plastic. See, it's starting to burn some of this plastic, so the flame's getting larger. I'd say that's pretty cool. Alright, you know what? I am... Oof. Please don't set the alarm off. Please don't set the alarm off. Okay, I think we're okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, I failed in blowing out a candle, but oh well. I did put out my fire. Okay, so I have not burnt anything down. However, I made a fire straw that was waterproof because it was crimped on both sides after being melted with a candle. So you'll need a lighter, candle, Vaseline, something to push in the cotton ball. You could use just plain toothpicks. That would be fine. Although I tell you, this worked really, really well. It was perfect size for the fast food. Great, the phone's ringing. Anyway, this is Nurse Amy, and I will see you soon. Please join us on doomandbloom.net.